problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
But
that
down.
dude hits hard.
Robert, oh, sorry, when you're done.
Yeah, so them ones with the A, Robert. Okay.
Yeah.
We send it. Answer. Anthony Joshua, it's Olympic champion. First. Jack Paul, it's sportsman, YouTuber, showman. Rolls Royce, Fiat.
Joe Rogan has never been shy about sharing his thoughts. His recent reaction to Anthony Joshua sparring with Oleksandr Usyk before Jake Paul's fight shocked the combat sports world. On his podcast, Rogan broke down the strange but interesting situation and questioned why two of boxing's top heavyweights would help prepare for a flashy fight involving Jake Paul.
Need to get stronger.
Rogan mixed doubt, respect, and his usual honest talk in his reaction. Fans are now excited and curious about what this strange training partnership could mean not only for Jake Paul but for the future of boxing as a whole.
You know, there's not a chance that Anthony Joshua is not going to just lose the weight beforehand. He's not going to come in drained. What he's going to do is just do extra cardio, and that's just going to make him more dangerous. He's going to be terrifying, and he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to be very angry that Jake Paul wants to fight him.
Instead of training in the UK with his usual coach, Ben Davidson, Joshua said at a recent press conference that he would train with people from Usyk's team. This was part of his preparation for the December 19th fight in Miami. He called the experience amazing and tough, praising Usyk's team, but made it clear that Usyk himself was not sparring with him every day.
You've got to find the belief in yourself, not in somebody else's system. You know what I mean? It's like Usyk's team might show him bits and bats of stuff. He doesn't box like Usyk. Can they train AJ to be similar to what Usyk's doing? AJ, you've got to pick out the best of what AJ does, and you've got to pick out the worst and improve the worst in him. And I'll say it time and time again. For me, the best trainer he ever had was Robert McCracken. It might not be what people want to hear, but he had him from the stages in the amateurs, from being a young mind, brought him through, guided. He had a good view of what the competition was out there, where to put him, you know, where to manoeuvre him, when to take fights, when not to take fights. And he'd invested a lot of time in him, Robert McCracken. So it was the payoff. Now when you go to, you know, if AJ came here or he goes to Ben Davison, or you're going to be in for a big payday as a trainer. It's a lot of responsibility to take on. You know, Ben Davis is a good trainer. He's trained AJ for so many fights, brought him back. He'll have got paid handsomely. Everybody wants to train AJ because it's a good payday. So, but sometimes you have to think to yourself, are you capable of training that fighter? You know, people have come to me wanting me to train. I said, to be honest, we're not going to match. You know, what I want to do and what I want you to do is not going to work. So I just think AJ is looking for that secret ingredient, and it's just within yourself.
By training with experienced people from Usyk's camp, Anthony Joshua is working on many attacking and defensive skills. People watching say he stays fully focused on getting better. He is improving his footwork, timing, and punch combinations in a smart but flexible way. The camp gives him sparring partners who feel like real fight opponents, helping him stay sharp and ready. As fight night gets closer, every session matters more, building both his strength and his mindset.
That's what he's trying to do, though, Simon. I think he's at that stage of his career where he's trying to rediscover a little bit of that confidence. He's gone to Oleksandr Usyk, where we're hearing reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange, Paul, isn't it?
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, it's the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go in the camp and they start training and do a little bits together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm travelling, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth and he's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But I'm just looking at his record here. He obviously, after the Usyk fight, he'd come back and he had 3 fights and then the Ngannou demolition
Well,
job.
yeah, Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helene, he had Otto Wallin, and he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the box rec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where, what you've just said then, Spencer, like, match him right. I felt he was match right with Dubois. That's just my opinion.
Just felt
Obviously, I was wrong on that and I was proved wrong, but I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board, and where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move at Usyk, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick, because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to get out and get back to winning ways, is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8 rounders.
Yeah.
He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such
Very
a
much so.
commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been...
But it's not about his
dedicated.
physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Anthony Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here in Spencer, but I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Oleksandr Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out by Deontay Wilder, and we've seen what Deontay Wilder is now.
Even though Joshua is not sparring with Usyk often, he is fully training in the Ukrainian champion's camp. He is working with top coaches who helped Usyk become a 2-time undisputed heavyweight champion and learning from their high-level boxing system. Joshua says this gives him great insight into someone who has achieved so much and helps him sharpen his skills for Jake Paul's unusual style.
You're not going to that camp just for Jake Paul, because he could have gone to fucking my camp to beat Jake Paul.
AJ's been in camp with Usyk.
Taking it seriously for it to get fucked off at the final minute.
What better camp to go join
yeah.
than the master himself?
What he's doing is he knows that he's got, 1, maybe 2 years left, maybe 2 years. So he's gone to the Usyk camp. There's motivation behind that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You're not going to that camp just for Jake Paul, because he could have gone to fucking my camp to beat Jake Paul. But he's going to that camp for the future of next year, where he could be fighting Dubois, could be fighting Fury, whatever.
Conor McGregor shared a strong warning about the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight. He said the match is very dangerous and believes it maybe should not happen at all. McGregor called Joshua a powerful former world champion and said anyone who steps into the ring with him deserves respect. He also pointed out the serious physical risks for Paul. Still, McGregor said he would respect Paul if he truly takes on the challenge, even though he doubts the fight makes sense for the sport.
He's going to get knocked out by AJ though, isn't he?
If he makes that walk, you've got to give him his respect for that. It's very dangerous, It seems like Netflix are all over him. It's a dangerous sport, and you can't overlook that. And Joshua's a big boy and a powerhouse. I've sat ringside and watched Joshua. That's a heavy punching man, and he's a happy and he's a good kid. He has an anger in him. He has a darkness in him, does Anthony Joshua. And I don't think a lot of people suss that. So, the fight shouldn't go ahead. In my opinion, the fight shouldn't go ahead. However, if he does it, I'll give him his respect.
UFC President Dana White strongly criticized the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight. He called it an unfair matchup that hurts the honesty of professional boxing. White questioned why a former world heavyweight champion should fight a YouTube star-turned-boxer. His comments caused big arguments online, with fans split on whether the fight is smart business or just a show. White said the fight makes no sense for boxing and could be risky, letting fame matter more than real skill. He warned that while celebrity fights make money, they can turn boxing into entertainment instead of a true sport.
He has people around him that will be saying to him, mate, Anthony hasn't boxed for a year and a half. Mate, Anthony got dropped in his last fight. Anthony's head's all over the place. He's gone. So, listen, fair fucking play. If he steps up and fights AJ, I will be the first to hold my hands up and go, fair fucking play. He'd have to be crazy to do it. He would have to be crazy to do it. Jake Paul's never really fought anyone major, when's he going to step up and fight a real fighter? I mean, this would definitely be one way to kill that narrative, but it would be a dangerous one. If we're offered it, and the money that I know is inevitable in a fight like that, it would be very difficult for us to turn it down. And I know some people will find a reason to not like it and moan, but I'm just going to give it to you straight always. We were going to have a run out this year in an 8-rounder against someone in the top, 120 on BoxRec that you've never heard of. We could have a run out against Jake Paul, end him in boxing forever, get rid of this whole little silly thing, and make about 50 or 60x in the process. How can you turn it down? So if it's real, there is a chance. Jake's won fights that I didn't think he'd win. And Jake has got a lot better over the last couple of years. He ain't in Anthony Joshua's league, that's for sure. The only way this fight happens, if it's a fight, it's a sanctioned fight. I mean, ultimately, it's a cruiserweight stepping up to fight a heavyweight. I mean, previously, what did you have? You had a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, but that was an exhibition. This is no exhibition. This is the 10-ounce big boys, and this is a real fight. We've already really got our plans with Turki Al-Sheikh for 2026, which is ultimately to fight Tyson Fury, but also to have another fight in February. We got the phone call to say, look, obviously Gervonta's out, would you be interested in December? And the only other options we had for December was to do an 8-rounder on a card somewhere, which I didn't even know was going to happen. So I said to Nikisa, if you're truthful about this, which he assures me Jake is, then it could happen. So let's live in the real world, yeah? And let's just, everybody stay calm and make logical business decisions. What would you do, right? And please don't give me the, yes, but you have to think about the legacy here. You can't eat legacy, and legacy is so important. By the way, he's an Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time world heavyweight champion. The legacy's okay. I wouldn't let him not take this fight. I would push him in the ring to take this fight. So if you want to blame someone, blame me. Just relax. One, I don't even know if it's going to happen. Two, if it does, just relax. Enjoy us going in there for boxing and sticking one on his chin. We'll go back, we'll fight Tyson Fury, etc. So just relax. But how can you say no? How can you say no? What am I missing?
Professional boxer Liam Cameron talked about what fans expect from the fight. He said most people think Joshua will easily win because of his Olympic background and long pro career. Cameron added that some fans may even enjoy a one-sided fight that shows the clear skill gap. This puts pressure on Jake Paul to prove he can adjust, stay strong, and entertain. Cameron explained that fan expectations matter a lot in crossover fights and affect both promotion and how fighters perform. He also said that people who dislike Paul expect Joshua to take care of him, but he still gave Paul credit for stepping into the ring.
Do you know if you don't like Jake Paul, AJ is going to do you a favour because he's going to flatten him. But big props to that Jake Paul for getting it ring with him. Listen to this, he's a multi-millionaire. Multi-millionaire. You don't have to box. And he's fighting him. He's either a madman or he knows something we don't know. But people like saying, oh, I won't take this Jake Paul fight. Listen, every boxer on the planet would fight Jake Paul. For money. I'd fight Anthony Joshua for money. I'd get flattened, but I'd fight him. So yeah, I think people sometimes have to watch what they say and think about if I were going to get 100 million.
Boxing analyst Joey Knight gave a strong warning about Jake Paul's reasons for taking the fight. He said Paul is mostly chasing attention and viral moments, not a traditional boxing career. This doesn't mean Paul isn't training or serious, but it places the fight more in the world of entertainment boxing. Knight pointed out the clear difference between the fighters. Joshua is focused on skill and legacy while Paul wants exposure and fans. This contrast makes the fight harder to predict and adds more drama to the story.
Can make a lot of cash, maybe not as much as the Anthony Joshua fight, but a lot of cash, and can still have a serious chance of going on to earn even more paydays. Whereas the damage that it could do to his body could be irreversible for that opportunity to earn money in a boxing career going forward. So is this the retirement bag? Or do you actually think you can win? Because I read a study recently, and I believe it said something along the lines of men overemphasize or overcalculate their ability to fight by about 500 times. And I'm saying Jake Paul would probably need to be 500 times better to stand a chance against Anthony Joshua. And I can't get how he doesn't already know this. Surely he has sparred with heavyweights. Surely the recent sparring that he had with the likes of Shakur Stevenson and with the likes of Ray Ford, amongst others, Badu Jack, surely that would have taught you that there are levels to boxing. And if these small guys are able to show you things that you had no idea that you were vulnerable to in a boxing ring, what happens when someone who hits 4, 5, 6 times as hard as that does the exact same thing to you and lands it on your chin? The whole reason of why I know where I am in the influencer boxing scene, in the misfit scene, is because of the level that I have sparred at. I've sparred boys that have gone on to box for world world titles. I've sparred with English champions, and I've sparred with loads of Southern area champions.
Legendary ring announcer Michael Buffer has said that Jake and Logan Paul have changed modern boxing. He explained that they have brought in younger fans and new excitement to the sport. Buffer said their big fights created energy that boxing had not seen in a long time and helped reach people who usually do not watch. While some traditional fans still question these crossover fights, Buffer believes the Paul brothers deserve credit for building hype and getting attention. He said bringing in new fans and media helps boxing grow and gives top fighters a bigger stage. Buffer sees this as a good thing, saying boxing benefits when entertainment and real skill come together.
Well, Jake and Logan, first of all, are fantastic athletes. You know what Logan does with the WWE and what Jake does with boxing. He knocks people out and everything. And they both have massive fan bases. And for me, it's great to see people get young people that follow them that didn't have like, they don't remember Ali or Joe Frazier or whatever. It's not in their wheelhouse. So it's great to see them developing fight fans and a big fight atmosphere. So it's very exciting.
These two stood face to face, and the comment section on the internet was going crazy. They were like, call the ambulance now, basically. Like Anthony Joshua looks dangerous standing next to him.
Anthony Joshua is, at this time, and has been for years, the biggest puncher in boxing. He's a devastating puncher. So I got to give Jake a lot of credit for wanting to take this fight.
Yeah, it's not. A lot of people saying it's not smart. If he somehow was able to surprise the world, what does this do for his?
The word would be surprised if he shocked the world. But that's exactly why you got to give him credit. He wants to do it. He trains hard, he works hard, and he has a lot of faith in himself. So we'll see what happens.
Technically, though, what's the biggest concern for you? What's the biggest tip you can give Jake, knowing that you've watched Anthony so many times dominate?
Work on your defense.
Many fans want to see Anthony Joshua fight Jake Paul because they think Joshua would easily beat him. Paul's habit of calling out top fighters and saying he's the best makes him very controversial. Many feel his confidence is unrealistic because Joshua has much more experience, skill, and size. Still, the fight has grabbed a lot of attention. Jake Paul says the fight will happen and that he has a plan to win. He isn't scared of Joshua's size or power and plans to use speed, movement, and smarts to outbox him. Paul even predicts a knockout around the 5th or 6th round, saying he can dodge Joshua's big punches. He has trained hard, sparring with strong fighters to get ready and build confidence for one of the biggest fights of his career.
For entertainment purposes, and I can do a little bit of everything. So I can be the heel, the villain, I could be a jackass, I could shit talk, I could be investor, businessman, CEO, boxer, whatever it is. You know the drill. The current state of modern entertainment, you got to do it all. You got to play across the board and be good at all these things. But I've been in this game for 12, 13 years now, and seen a lot of people fall by the wayside. But me and my brother have just worked hard and been super calculated and know what we're doing in this space.
I think the work ethic is obviously absurd, and you guys are a couple of Ohio fucks at your core, so we have massive respect for that. But obviously talent and having to understand where the world is going is a forethought that not a lot of people have in history. You're a trailblazer, you know that. Now let's get to your boxing career. You've been very, very, very upfront about how you want to be a world champion. You focus your entire life to boxing, it seems. We've seen you in other eras and chapters of your life where you're doing a lot of things. Then you turned your focus fully to boxing. You said boxing saved your life. You fell in love with it. Now you're taking on a guy who has done the same thing with boxing for most of his life. He has loved it. He has invested in it. He has fought the greats. He's been in the biggest fights. He's been champion. I think a lot of us were very surprised that this would be happening. How do you feel just a few days out? And what went into the decision to fucking fight Anthony Joshua?
Yeah, look, to me, I see a lot of paths to victory in his style, and styles make fights. We all know that. He's lost to guys who are shorter mostly and lighter mostly, and faster than him. I see holes in his game. I see punches that I can land that can hurt him.
Is Joshua training with Usyk's team the surprise Paul didn't expect? Or does Paul's confidence and unusual style give him a real chance to win? Share what you think in the comments below.